Now those, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are Wisteria seed pods from last year's flowers, and those there are potential flower buds that we are going to prune off. So this is a video that combines a little bit of winter pruning to encourage more flowers on your wisteria, and a little bit of an experiment to collect some seeds from these seed pods, wearing gloves, because apparently they can be toxic, and we'll take them inside and see if we can get the seeds out and get them sown in some compost and see if we can germinate and grow our own Chinese wisteria. Join me on this exciting journey. So I've been looking after this wisteria alongside the school car park here for, well, it must be about 18 years now, something like that. And we get flowers every year, and you can look at some of my previous videos on some of the details on that pruning that we do once in summer, around about July time, maybe August here in the UK, and then once in winter. We're doing this in late January. Anytime in January, February normally is the time to do a winter prune here in the UK. So what are we trying to do when we're pruning? Well, you can see this stem here, and this section, this slightly lighter coloured section, would have been growing way out there somewhere last summer. They put on lots and lots of these kind of soft twining shoots in the summer, which we have to cut back. Once we've got our kind of main framework of branches here, what we want is to get short, stumpy flowering shoots. Like there's a flowering shoot there with last year's flower on it. So you want kind of those buds close together, those short, stumpy bits of growth, which will produce flower buds. So in the summer, we cut back that long stem, which was a couple of meters, a couple of yards long in old language. We cut it back down to about 4 or 5 buds there. And now in the winter, we're going to cut that back to 2 or 3 buds. I'm going to do it to 2 buds there. There's another shoot there, which looks very promising. Can you see that one there? Which, again, we cut back last summer. And I've got a cluster quite near the bottom of the stem there, just where my finger is pointing. We've got a cluster of 3 shoots, so I'm going to cut just above that 3rd shoot, and that looks promising to me. That bud there, if you can see him, my camera doesn't want to focus on him. There we are. Yeah, so that bud there looks like a flowering bud to me. So I get my secateurs, my trusty Felcos, and we go in just above that bud and cut that there. And then I'm going to do those 2 buds there, because that looks too long, that section there. Either way might work, but I'm going to do 1 to 2 buds. There we go. And the other 1 to 3 buds. So now we're encouraging this bit here to produce short, stumpy growth, and hopefully some flowers. We'll find out this April. Now, let's cut off some of these seed pods here and see what's inside. Join me inside and we'll investigate more closely how to get some seeds out of those pods and get them sown, and maybe even germinated and growing. There we go. So there's our lovely seed pod, and if you look kind of closely at it, you can kind of see some swelling along the side of the pod there, which kind of suggests that there are some seeds inside. And I've just run my secateur blade down the kind of the seam along the center of that pod, just to open it up and let's kind of create a split, and there we are. Look at that. There's our seeds inside the pod. So these are reputed to be quite toxic, quite poisonous. So I'm doing this at the school when there's no children about, because we don't want them at risk as we do this. So they look really, really good, healthy seeds. There's some more that I took out an hour or two back, and I just put in some water. I have read or heard online that, you know, you're supposed to soak these things overnight or something. I haven't got time to do that. I've got to be honest. The weather we've been having this winter in here in South Wales, these guys haven't been soaked for a day. They've been soaked for about 2 months, as they've been sat on that dead wisteria vine over winter. It's not dead, but it looks dead over winter. You know what I mean, dormant. So I'm hoping that these are, you know, don't need soaking. They're going to get into some wet compost soon anyway. So talking of wet compost, let's get some pots filled and get these little boys sown. There we go. So I've got a 6-pack, as they say. So there's a pack of 6 smallish pots here. Really well drained compost. So this is compost that we've mixed ourselves, taking some old tomato compost actually, and kind of crumbling it down so it's nice and soft. Mixed in some sand and some grit in with that. So we've got a free draining compost that isn't too fertile. We don't want seeds to be scorched by too much in the way of fertilizer. So you could buy a seed compost from your local garden centre. Just make sure it's a nice well drained seed compost. And I'm going to go over here and grab some of those seeds out of the water. And I'm going to do these in 2s. Don't know why. If only 1 germinates, you know, that's fine. And if 2 germinates, well, we'll have a bushy plant. Wisterias notoriously can grow very fast and can take over. And we know that growing these wisterias from seed does mean that we're going to have to wait a long time before we get any flowers. When I say a long time, I suppose 4 or 5 years. I've heard it said in the past, I think I was taught that you had to wait 7 years for wisteria to flower. Now, a lot of the wisteria plants that you can grow or buy these days from the nurseries and the garden centres will have been grafted, or there will be varieties that will flower sooner than 7 years. But with seed grown, I think you just need to prepare yourself for a long wait. And the pruning that I've shown you at the start of this video will help. And if you need more instruction on how to do that pruning, look on my channel and you will find some quite detailed videos on how to prune in summer, cutting back that long leafy soft green growth, and then again in the winter, like I just showed you, in the winter, and that will help you to develop flower buds as opposed to lots and lots and lots of leafy growth. So we've got the seeds there, and I put quite purposefully put the compost level quite low in the 6-pack there, so that we can cover those seeds with about, well, a centimetre or more of compost. And I'm going to go and put that in the greenhouse and give it a little drink. Come with me. There we go. So let's get some water on the matter. There we are. Good drenching, but that will soon drain through in that well drained compost, and we're going to keep that compost moist, slightly damp, not soaking wet, for as long as it takes. And they say that in a month to 2 months, somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks, we should see those seeds come up. This greenhouse is not really that hot. It's got a tiny little heater in it here, which does not very much. It's just a little kind of radiator, electric powered, which just keeps the worst of the frost off, but never really cooks it. It only gets, at the moment, I'm guessing it will get kind of 10 degrees, something like that, during the day. and obviously those temperatures will increase when we start to get some sunshine, which we actually got today on the almost at the end of January. The sun came out and there was a little bit of warmth on it. You think, well, hey, spring is coming. So that's how we grow our wisterias. We've collected the seed at the end of January. Some people say you can collect them earlier. I suppose it depends in what climate you are. But what I would say is, don't pick the seed pods too soon. Give the seed as much time as possible to ripen. By the time we pick them, they've gone from green to kind of that grey brown colour. If they were still kind of shiny and green, I wouldn't be in a hurry to pick them, because you want those seeds to be maturing. So I'm guessing late autumn here in the UK, that kind of November, December, you could start to think about picking them. We haven't picked them, as I say, until January. And stay in touch. We'll let you know if we succeed in our quest. It might take a month or so. There we are. Done another 6-pack now. It occurred to me that you may not have a greenhouse, and that's fine. There's a number of options. You could try them on a kind of coolish windowsill. They don't want to get too hot. So on a windowsill that gets a little bit of light, but not too hot, as I say. Or in the UK, we find these very popular. You can get a little kind of patio greenhouse, which you can get for about, I don't know, between 20 and 30 pound, and you can cover them with polythene and put them outside by your back door somewhere, and that makes a cheap alternative to a greenhouse. That's an old one here that has lost its plastic cover, but we still use it as a little kind of shelf unit for our seeds here in the school. You could use a shed, but try and get some light in there. Push comes to the shove, if you haven't got any of those things, I would probably try sowing them a bit later when it's maybe kind of warming up a little bit, and leave them outside. And see if you can get them to germinate later in the spring. Maybe if you sowed them in kind of late February, early March, you might get them to germinate in March, April, something like that. The thing with this, with seed growing, it costs you very little. If you wanted to buy a wisteria plant, it would cost you here in the UK £20-25 or more for a decent sized one. These seeds cost us nothing. The compost cost us almost nothing, because it's old compost we just mix some fresh sand and grit with. And you get the excitement of looking at these week after week until you see them germinating. And if they don't, all the more reason to try again. Let us know how you get on. Have you ever grown wisterias from seed? Have we done this the way you would do it? We'd love to hear from you. And you can put a comment in the channel comment section below. Speak to you soon. Enjoy your garden.